Welcome. This is a special edition of this is actually the May version of our Pega UX design team review. This is a special edition because we're going to focus entirely on UI Kit 9, which is going to be released with 7.3. And the focus is actually going to be mostly on the implementation side, and the front-end development side. This is critical information for anybody in the company who builds any application. So we have Richard Marceau here today who's going to take the bulk of the time, and I think Kaylee is also going to, and Chris too, or no?
I'll put it somewhere.
So maybe a little bit of background on UI Kit 9, but primarily some just, good advice on how to adopt it correctly. And with that, I will hand it over to Richard.
I'm Richard Marceau, I'm the director of the front-end development team. And we have two UI teams that are working on front-end development. We have UI Samurai that are responsible for UI Kit and the Pega, the Pega app, that is a mobile app. And then we have the organized team in Bangalore that is responsible for mainly the look and feel of the design studio and the express flows, as well as the skill form and book type. Like Sean said, today we are talking about UI Kit 9. I had a similar training done in May when I went to Hyderabad and Bangalore. I tried to provide some inputs about what's new in UI Kit 9 to some of the Pega application teams, and I did a similar training to the UX design team. So this is kind of, right now we're at the point where 7.3 is almost released, and it's critical for all the Pega application to really think about what it means to adopt UI Kit 9. So this is a critical training for all the Pega applications. So the thing that we were thinking about like 2 weeks ago, what was very interesting in one comment that Steve Bixby made was that he said that it was the first one of the first time where he really see that all the apps were really looking consistent across all the different food at the tech pavilion. And I think it's really an indication of all the effort that the UX design team has been putting in over the past 3 or 4 years into making sure that all the UX designers are working together on identifying what are these main components. And now that we have designed the Pega.com for the past 2 years now, we really have this great design system that all our applications can now look for more information and really understand how these building blocks are being assembled together, so that all the apps at the end of the day looks really the same. They are consistent from the look and feel. They're using the same behaviors and patterns to achieve the kind of similar goals. So I think this is an indication of a lot of effort that the Pega application team have been doing over the past year. And it all started by trying to leverage UI Kit. And what is UI Kit? For those that don't really understand what it is, it's really the core foundation layer that is going to implement the Pega design system. And the design system is only good as long as you keep it fresh and you keep it updated, right? So instead of having every Pega application trying to implement the Pega design system and having to update it every time we make a change, the idea is that UI Kit is going to provide this foundation layer so that later on, if we make a change to our design system, then all the Pega applications are going to benefit from it, right? So when I talk to some of the applications, they see UI Kit as kind of a burden. It's like an additional effort that has to be used to integrate with UI Kit. But the value there, the value proposition is that if you use this foundation layer, you have to use it once, and then you're going to get the benefit moving along. So if you get on the train, then the train is going to bring you to the next level. One of the good examples that we're going to cover at the end is UI Kit 10. We are going to actually make some styling changes, significant styling changes on how the buttons are going to look like, right? So if you have your own skin and you are not using the UI Kit, then you have to make the changes yourself in any Pega application. So the goal there is to really increase productivity. We want to avoid the Pega application teams to really implement the same thing over and over. And we want to move them into this foundation layer so that we can implement it once, maintain it once, and then all the Pega application can really leverage that. So what it means to be a core foundation layer? The first thing it means is really using PY and user scheme as the way to implement our base formats that all Pega applications should use. Which means that when we talk about a default container format, we are all talking about the same thing. We are all talking about the same way how it should look like in terms of spacing and margin, right? So that's why it's critical that all the applications use the space formats. When I was working with sales automation or customer service, all the applications were using P1 user, and everybody was saying, yeah, we use vector, right? This is great. We're using P1 user scheme, and it's all inherent. But all the formats were overridden, which made me you're losing the whole advantage of this population there. The goal is that you want to use these formats, and we are using a 14 pixel spacing grid, and we want to make sure that everything is consistent across all the applications. The other thing that the core foundation layer of Proactive provides is the common CSS layer for helper classes and for base components. For example, the responsive behaviors. What should you do if you don't have enough width space? What you should hide on the header? What kind of mobile control behaviors or style we want to implement? Pulse overlay right now was also a big change, is that being able to show pulse as an overlay that we slide to the right was a common base component. And also the stages, look at the stages, the 3 stages, is something that is part of the UI there. The other thing is, as part of Reactive, is the perform harness. That is really the foundation layer for all the Pega app harnesses. Right? So as every Pega application are overriding their harnesses, the perform harnesses. But at the end of the day, the more they can try to leverage on the out-of-the-box perform harness from UI kits, the better they will be to follow the evolution of this harness consistent. And then the other two goals of the UI kit is really a showcase of our best UI and UX best practices. Like I said, I was in May in Hyderabad. I did a training on UI UX best practices to more than 20 engineers in Hyderabad, and then I did the same thing in Pega. I think the goal of UI kit is really to implement these best practices and really show how to implement them. And then so it's a showcase of all the latest features that are introduced in Pega 7. When we start to work on UI kits, we're trying to work with the core UI teams and all the other backlogs to make sure that all those latest features introduced in the release are actually showcased using your out-of-the-box code. When you build a new app in Express, you want to make sure that all the latest features are showcased. So for those that don't know, it's like I've heard a lot of questions about why are you not putting it UI kit 9? What is UI kit 8? Why are you not using the Pega 7 release number? The main reason is that we want to have a major release for every UI kit version. And why it is important is because when a customer starts to use, for example, UI kit 8 that was shipped in Pega 7.2, when they upgrade to Pega 7.3, they want to upgrade to UI kit. They can still stay with the UI kit 8. They already validated the application. We're not forcing them to upgrade to UI kit 9. So it's critical that it was a major version. And as such, we have to use a different version scheme for all the wholesale. Right? So when we talk about UI kit 9, it's Pega 7.3, and UI kit 10 is Pega 7.1. So this is the changes that were introduced in UI kit 8. That was back in November. So the UI Samurai were meeting with all the Pega application back in November, where we worked them so all the UI kit 8 changes. There were a lot of changes. UI kit 8 was actually one of the largest UI kits deliverable that we had over the past 5 years. And it has so many changes that actually showcase at Pega World this year, because a lot of the Pega applications have been making these changes, working with the client team to make sure that they are implementing these changes. I'm just going to list a couple of them. I'm not going to go through the full list, but I will recommend that all the Pega applications we review this list to make sure that it's accurate. There's actually a mesh video link that provides more details about all the UI kit 8. So the main change was Flexbox. We introduced all the layouts to be able to easily move to Flexbox, and there was also a utility that you can use to convert all your sections to Flexbox. And then there was some major changes in the case walker, mainly the case walker and the case manager role, with the left panel, with a plus new menu that was moved to the left panel, and trying to simplify the power header. So there was something that we are now seeing across all the applications. And then the other major change was the city headers for all the worker harnesses. This was a feature that is now part of the core platform, but all the application, Pega applications are now following the same approach to make sure that we are trying to provide as much relevant information in the header for the worker harnesses and make them sticky so that you can access the reaction quickly and move forward. So what is the goal of this meeting? So we want, so now that 7.3 is almost released, we want all the Pega 7 or all the Pega applications to be input UIKit 9 into the upcoming release and make sure that this is compatible with 7.3. Right? So, and there is, and like Sean said, there's going to be no exceptions. Right? So we don't want to have magic application 3 and still using UIKit 7, using UIKit 8. Right? Why is it critical that we are all using the same UIKit version? It's because if a customer buys 2 different applications, right? If you buy, for example, a customer service and then decide to buy one of the healthcare applications, we want to make sure that all the applications are based on the same layer, same foundation layer. Right? So it is critical to all Pega apps operating to UIKit 9.
Can I just clarify that versus something I heard you say, thought I heard you say a few minutes ago, which was a customer may not choose to take
a customer that already has deployed an app in production, right?
Yeah.
So I already deployed an app in production. I'm trying to upgrade to 70 because I want to get some fixes. Yeah. You can still keep you're not going to change your UIKit version at this point.
Sure.
Upgrade, we are maintaining backup already on upgrade for your application. The application is going to look the same as before. Sure. Right? And then it will require development effort to migrate from an old version to a new version.
Sure. But we're going to go to market with consistency across our applications for the first purchase. And then the customer, okay, thank you.
And then customer will tweak the application and then they will start suddenly the same UIKit version. So when I say to people, well, you have to use UIKit 9, one at a time what I hear is, well, we're already using UIKit 9. Look at my application. It's actually it's actually based on the UIKit 0901 application. And by the way, we are inheriting from a Q1 user, so I have nothing else to do. It's great. Well, this is not what we mean by UIKit 9 adoption. This is just to get started. This is the first 2 minutes to start to adopt UIKit. Of course, you need to use UIKit in the application. Of course, you need to inherit from Q1 user. But that's just the beginning of the journey. Right? Adopting UIKit 9 means adopting all the features that are in UIKit 9 and adopting those best practices so that all our applications look consistent. So we're going to go to what it means to adopt UIKit 9. So this is a screenshot on the desktop of the caseworker and the case manager form. So if you look at there, the major changes, UIKit 9 was more focused on mobile. So there's going to be much less changes as UIKit 8. And hopefully it should be a much easier upgrade than UIKit 8 for the big application that did this upgrade. So we hope that the list of changes are going to be easier to implement than UIKit 8. So if you look at this screen there, the highlight is the case status that is now moved to the header. Again, back to what I said originally, when we move to UIKit 8 and having the sticky header, we want to leverage this real estate space there. This is a space that is always visible on the screen when you scroll down. So we want to make sure that we're making the best use of this header that is now sticky. And so we're moving the case status over there, and we're introducing the new batch report that is now provided to help our classes in the UIKit there. The other thing that we're doing is we're also improving the actions on the right, where some of the widgets that were in the perform harness on the right-hand side are now moved as a menu option. Follow, tag, where am I, into this action menu. The case stages appear as a full width. Right, so not that so many changes, it's really an evolution compared to the UIKit 8. There's also some changes on screen flows, where now you can really mix a flow that has a regular stages and steps. And now you can also have inside your perform harness a tab screen flow, for example, that will look like your regular perform harness. In the past, the screen flow harnesses were very different from your typical perform harness. So there was some work done in UIKit 9 so that you can actually have a mix of both screen flows and regular flows into your application. A big change there that some of the big applications are using what we call the alternate follow. Alternate follow means that there's no left panel and everything is at the top header. So we are actually now implementing this alternate follow, and if you adopt UIKit 9, you need to try to reuse the same sections that are used for the header and try to maybe remove your override and implement using the foundation layer of UIKit the same implementation that you have. Hopefully, it should be a very smooth upgrade, and you're going to get the benefit of some of the responsive behaviors that I will showcase to you during the hands-on demo. There were some changes on the mobile side, major changes. So for the Pega application that have mobile application, there's definitely going to be some significant changes for that to have in mind. I'm not going to go to the full list there. I'm just going to highlight a couple of changes there where we are now using a footer, a main and a footer for the whole portal, and then trying to optimize the work list so that it's much more easy to read on mobile device. And then there's also some screen flow enhancements, especially on the breadcrumbs that are much more readable on a mobile phone, where we're trying to focus on the most important pieces of information on screen. So for the Pega apps that need to have a mobile app, there's much more detail on actually a mesh code that is about what's in the There was also some changes to the Pega core icon font with some new icon, some new color and size code modifiers. So definitely recommend to look at the mesh document for all the updates on the icon fonts. And also one of the things to note is that we have actually reduced our usage on the Open Sans icon on the Open Sans web font, where we no longer include the icons of this font. So it should be we have less web fonts to download now when we use web. Badge report, so you see the 6 badges that we are standardizing across all the application, back to being consistent. So it's critical that all the big applications are using the same way to implement those badges. There's actually alpha classes in UI9 that you can use when you drop a formatted text control, and using these alpha classes like badge-background-info, you can actually get the right color and the right look and feel across the big application. So upgrading your existing app if you already have badges to use this new format should be ready. Let's go to the most important part of this, and you know we're going to focus most of the time. It's about using design templates.
Never mind.
So design template is a feature that was introduced in 718, especially when you are building Express application. But it's now to the point where it's a very rich interface, and it's something that we really want all the Pega applications to really focus and invest on. So what was done in UI 9 is that 3 main pages, the team profile, the user profile, and the work-perform analysis were all upgraded to use design templates. And they were mainly used for what we call page layout. You have 2 ways that you can use design templates. You can use design templates for like a small section. So for example, case details would be a very good candidate for design templates, right? Where you can use all your properties using one maybe stack layout design template. But here we are going to focus. We want all the Pega applications to first focus on page layouts when they use design templates, because page layout is something that a customer is likely going to start to modify as the first thing. He's going to start to want to move maybe pieces of functionality or widgets from one place to the other, and using design templates is actually a great way to do that. So Kenny wrote a great document on how to use design templates for page layouts, as well as how to use design templates for more simple sections. So we are going to move to the demo. Okay, so I am in Designer Studio. That's 7 release. The first is Express mode. Express is what we're going to focus, what we've been focusing on over the past couple of releases, and we want all the Pega application to really make sure that a Pega application looks really well integrated into the Express environment. The first thing that you're going to notice is a page that if you had Pega mode, you might have noticed on the multi-channel, on the virtual assistant booth, but also it was used in a French keynote, was the new channel interface landing page. It's actually a page that has a lot of huge success with our customers, because now we can tell a story of not only what's supporting web and mobile, but now we have all these kind of channels that your application can be available to, like the Facebook Messenger channel, also email, SMS channel, and so forth. And this is how people really understand the concept of having an omni-channel application, right? So this is a great landing page where you can see all your different channel interfaces in one landing page, right? So let's see what happens if I open the decision analytics portal, right? That is an portal that has been built maybe like in 72. Well, this is what I'm going to get, right? So I'm opening this channel interface, and it says, well, this is not really auto-generated. You have to switch to Designer Studio, right? So not a great user experience, right? If I am a customer and I purchase a Pega application, I really want to use Express and really get some of the features there on being able to configure a channel interface. So what happened in a UI Kit 9 is that the three out-of-the-box portal that we call case default, which is mainly the Express default portal, the case worker portal, and the case manager portal have all been upgraded to use the channel interface. So this is what we called in the past application views. If you remember in Express, you are aware that you can actually manage your application views. So this is now replaced by this channel interface technology that is much clearer for everybody to understand. And now this landing page is actually the representation of all the channel interfaces. So no longer use the app view name or application view. Try to focus on using this concept of channel interface. Now, if I open Case Worker, I'm going to see that now Case Worker is actually a header left portal. I have also a description that I can enter, right? That can be actually read as to the landing page. And I see that my Case Worker portal is composed of header. And I actually, if I open this dropdown, I can see that I can actually change the header. I can go to the main, to the left panel and change the different navigation for the left panel. And then I can go to the workplace and also change what is going to be the main area of my portal. So what we want is that we want all the application, all the Pega application to start to migrate all the portals to be full-fledged channel interfaces, web channel interfaces, so that if you open your web channel interface using Express, but also using Designer Studio, you are going to see that your portal can be fully configured. So this page is not only available in Express, it's also available in Designer Studio. It's actually one of the main links in your application. So if you go to enrollment, channel interfaces is the third link there. So it's what all the customers are going to look at when they start to open this page. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to open my Case Worker portal. So my Case Worker portal by default is going to be a typical portal that a lot of Pega applications are using. There's a header, a left, and a main. I'm going to show you how easy it is to convert this portal to be an alternate portal. Right? We talked about being able to support now in a UI Kit 9, we have this alternate portal. So we are going to, instead of having to go and open my portal on my harness and do all the changes, I can just go there and say, I'm going to switch my Case Worker alternate portal header. And by the way, I'm going to be a header main. Right? So this is how it is my alternate portal. I'm going to save it. And this is after 2 clicks, I'm able to save it. And then when I refresh the portal, automatically it becomes an alternate portal. Right? So now you can see the benefits of having your portals exposed as a channel interface. Not only you can reconfigure it, you can you switch it to different templates, but also now you can make all the sections, this header section, this left panel section available. So that's how the new alternate portal looks like. You have some responsive effects when you hover on the Get Next Word on the plus, right? So you have some nice hovering effects on all different menus. So when I say if you have a big application that uses alternate portal, definitely one of the adoption for UI Kit 9 is to start to use the section that is called out of the box in UI Kit 9 and start to re-implement this section with the different menus. It's all about the navigation rule over there, so that it really looks the same, right? Consistency is again the key there. So you see, so all this effects is about consistency between all the apps. So you want to have all the apps look the same if they use this alternate portal. So that was on the channel interface by Paul. My new case to Express. So I am on the case default, but let's change to the get work area also to show that my admin code is also working there. So I'm going to go to my create a new case. And so one of the things that we need is the perform harness is now converted to full-fledged design concept. So if I go over a case, all your different sections that are used in the perform harness. So there is a new template that is called main case area. That is mainly a main and a right, like what we have had in the past. And now you can see that all your gadgets, all your action area are now visible right there in the design template. So if I was converting this section to a regular section, so now if you look at this, I'm just going to convert this section to a regular section. Right? So I'm going to say I don't want to use the design template. This is how your perform harness looked like in the past. This is my section there. So you see, it's very difficult to understand what is being included in this section. There's no details about every section included. There's no information about what is used, what is the one rule. You have to go and really dig down deeply into every section, into every dynamic cloud, open the property panel, open the section, and so forth. So it's really difficult to navigate. So the idea is that if you are able to convert all those kind of pages to page layouts, you can then easily change them using the design template. So now if I refresh this section again, the good thing with design template is that now you can move a section. So let's say I want to have my case details at the top. I just can do something like this, move it to the top, automatically the channel will apply, right? So it's a much easier interface to be able to start to rearrange your page layout and move all the different components and widgets from one place to the other. I'm not showing an Express because it's there. I'm usually show the Express edit, but you can do actually the same thing in Express, where you can actually move the different section in Express mode into different places. The only limitation that you cannot do right now in Express is that you cannot open the property panel and change either the section name, or change on some format, or more importantly, change on the visible bundles. Right? So you can still rearrange in Express, but you cannot actually change have access to the property panel of the section. It's something that is likely going to come in upcoming releases. So that's on the benefit of converting all your page layout to templates. One of the pages that were converted to templates.
Yeah, okay. From a traditional section to a page template. This is the traditional, this is the page template. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new section and use it with a design template. That's really important. We're in this template phase. Let's add something just to see how it looks. Right? And you see that that's what our section's going to have. So let's convert it and use the main piece there. Because the main and the side part. So we're going to take each section from the main part and copy paste it into our template. And this is a little time consuming, but it's not too bad. You just copy and paste every single one. This is just one of them. exercise. I'm so speedy.
This is what you think about.
Don't play at all.
Like the level of expertise, the highest level. Express.
So I don't know if it showed up there, but total dump sped up, it took 7 minutes. In case you're interested. Yeah, sure. I think we're gonna edit this.
Okay, it took you 7 minutes. Someone knows it's really long.
So, well, I did it for the first time yesterday, and then I recorded it on the second time doing it. So,
There's, after those use the regular application. Be able to go to that, do that.
As long as you're okay to move my release date, that's fine. No problems doing it.
we're gonna edit this page template by adding dynamic layouts and labeling them as template pages, and adding hello and then to the top. And then when we go to a section that references that template, you can see hello is there, and you can add whatever you like to it. So when it's rendered,
You can actually, another option would be that instead of starting from scratch, like hitting this, you could actually start from the PY case made either, which is actually shipped in UX design. So when we look at this point, you actually start from this section, save that into your own application, and use the different work class, right? You specialize by the work class, and then you start to modify it. Because most of the things like the case area, action area, is likely something that only to be you. The case details or case attachments is something that you already use. So there are a lot of things that you can actually convert easily some of this section to design content. But we're not talking only about the perform harness, right? Just to be clear. We're talking about any main section that you have as a page into your application. So let's talk about example sales information. When you have the accounts page, right, or the account detail is a page. You could easily convert that to a page layout because there's a lot of different widgets that you can actually, like maybe a customer would want to move or remove on that particular application. So that's we're talking about. Definitely start from the perform harness, but extend that to all the other main pages. So that's for us on the design topics. Before we move to the next, so we talk about two things: channel interfaces, and we talk about design topics. Before we go to some other items, any question on this? So if you're on the phone or in the room about either channel interface with a new landing page or with design topic. No? Maybe we can take some questions here. I'm sure there are going to be some questions. Okay, so let's go to some of the other miscellaneous items on UX design. Empty state. Pega has done a great job on like really standardizing across all the empty states. It's kind of when a customer see like a way that we show empty state with a tag, so making sure that everybody is standardizing. So when you have a list, something that could be empty, it's definitely good for that you are standardizing on how it should look like. So there's a nice talk about this.
there's also a long post on design.pega.com about
So definitely check out that to review all your pages in your application where your list can be empty. And, anytime you have a list empty, it's going for it. Definitely implement the empty state pattern appropriately. The other big change is a single page file on dynamic container. So why did we do this? This is maybe a core UI change, and you see there's a new file there that's been named called render a single page. So what happened in the past is that when you have the case worker form or case manager form, every time you move from one screen to the other, one step in your performance to the other, we will render the whole page again, starting from the top to the bottom. So we will render the header, we will render the last panel, we will maybe do a full-fledged refresh on the page. Right? So we will go what we call top-level URL efficient, especially if you have a left panel with some recents that you have to reload every time. So you are reloading something that is likely not going to change the same as the header. So single page application, the render as a single page, this idea is that we are only going to refresh the main, and we do that 3 times. Right? So instead of doing a top level UI navigation, only the main is being refreshed. The performance improvement is huge. So there's actually on the mesh, there's actually a demonstration between without the flag and with the this is a much smoother experience. There is no longer the white page that is displayed, right? Because white page is shown when you navigate top, right? Because the browser is navigating top URL, it shows a blank page first, right? And then you start to process the head and start to implement start to process the CSS and JavaScript, you get a blank page, right? So you get this kind of effect. So using render single page is a critical flag. All the Pega apps needs to start to move towards that. The caseworker portal has been upgraded, and all the portals have been upgraded out of us to use this render single page. There are 2 things that you should be aware of. The first one is that if you use anything that is a patch unload events, like if you do a jQuery unload or whatever, to do unload even binding, it's not going to work because we're not loading anything. So in this case, if you have custom scripts, custom JS, you need to use Pega.ud attach and load to be able to load on a data. Right? So the other thing is that some apps, I hope that nobody is doing that. This is visible in Pega, was you can attach JavaScript or style to your harness. Right? This is not one of the recommended best practices, by the way, but it is possible. And if you do so, it means that your JS and your CSS are going to be loaded when you move this document, right, this harness. So they're going to persist. So your JS and all your CSS are going to continue to be loaded forever. So if your CSS, for example, has a very global selector, it's going to apply for all your remaining pages. Right? So recommendation there is that do not use harness level JS and CSS. Already provided for releases. But definitely, when you start to move to a single page application, this is a recommended first that you review all your harnesses and make sure that they are not using CSS or JS. The other thing that you should definitely do is convert your screen layout to use Flex. So now there's this optimized mode that you can see in all your screen layouts. So screen layouts are used in worker harnesses, which means all your perform harnesses now hopefully should be running as screen layouts, because now they are based on worker harnesses, and then your photo layouts are going to also use screen layouts. So it's going to definitely move towards more optimized market, and we use Flex as an approach. So the cheat sheet there, what you should do, and I put them in priority order from the one that is the most important to the one that does that mean that you have to stop at 1 or stop at 2? I hope that you will stop to 8, the last one. But the first thing that you should definitely do is convert to the page application. Then you should convert all your screen out to Flex. Right? So those are step 1 and 2, should be relatively straightforward. The next one should be to upgrade all your page layouts with design templates. Can you show that in 7 minutes you can cover the perform harness from scratch to use a design template? You should convert all your photo rule forms to use the web channel interface so that they are correctly integrated into Pega Express as well as in the Designer Studio landing page, which means that you have to tag some of the sections to the header, left panel, and main, right? So they show up in the dropdown. You should also take advantage of the new icon fonts, making sure that if you have some old GIF or PNGs, that you get rid of them. We don't want to have any section using GIFs or PNGs. So it's okay to use SVG because they are inline. If you have a Pega application that is using the alternate photo view, you should definitely upgrade your photo to use the new alternate photo header section. And if you are showing badges or empty state, you should definitely use the UI design implementation. And then finally, if you have a mobile application like sales automation or field services, you should definitely leverage all the new features into UI design. So that's the cheat sheet for UI design adoption. So what the team is working on, the US Summary team now is working on UI 10 for 731. There are 4 high-level goals. The first one is converting more sections to design templates for page layout and sections. Right? Focus on that and make sure that in UI 10, more sections are converted to design templates. We'll also implement a new sidebar navigation, which is mainly the ability to minify the sidebar and expand lower and focus, like customer service ad at one point in the application. So this is definitely something that all Pega applications will have to migrate to when UI is available for the sidebar navigation. We're going to do also some cleanup on the scheme formats, CSS overrides, and do a better job at documenting all the helper classes, especially focusing on how to better use flags in your application to really take advantage of this functionality. And then there's going to be some styling changes, especially the button color is going to change. There's going to be some other styling changes in the UI kind of are going to come. So that's what is coming up in 71. So just to give you some heads up, but I think that the goal of today is really focusing on this list of 8 wildcards on understand what is the next step, so that if you release your Pega application against 7.3, you have gone to this list and make sure that you can check the Pega sites on this list. That is applicable. For more details, there's actually a deck about what's new in UI with mine. There's also a best practice training with 20 tips that I did there's a video recording for that. If you have any questions, you should post your comments on the UI workspace. And then if you have any question about how to implement that, we have front-end developers in almost every location. We have one in Amsterdam, but we have Ragavan in Alba that's part of the Hawkeye team. That is part of the UI Samurai team. And in Cambridge, we have Rob and Sam that can help for any questions that you might have around UI Kit9, around how to implement the best practices, and really adopting UI Kit9 before you release your applications. So that's it for today. So any question on the floor? Any questions? No?
Does anyone have any questions on why this is really critical from a strategic perspective? The reason why we are doing this, why all these applications should be both consistent, but also should be extremely easy for customers to configure rather than to customize.
Why? I don't get it.
Well, Steve, we'll have to have a special meeting.
I think it would be helpful.
Yeah. So we're trying to, I'll say in one sentence, we're trying to fulfill the vision that is Pega software. That the concept being that we can have people who are on the side, on the business side, successfully configure incredibly critical business applications. The design system and the UI kit allows features and functionality to be modularized, if you will, and be easily moved from one application to another, and work not just visually but logically. That's part of it. And then by moving towards an express experience for configuring, we allow business people to make those changes directly. You no longer will need to be a struggling Java programmer or a front-end developer to really configure successfully complex enterprise applications. This is really part of the fulfillment of, of the Pega vision, what we're trying to do. It's incredibly important.
I think Richard said it well when he was talking about how all the apps that at Pega World are really starting to come together and have this common element. I heard it from an analyst, and I heard it from several customers. So it's not just us looking at our work and going, see, it's all the same. People are recognizing it and seeing it as a differentiator for Pega. That we are thought leaders in the design space, and that we have our shit together in that all our apps are starting to come together with a common paradigm.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if vertical teams or customers will also be able to create their own templates.
That's part of this, is that this is extendable. I mean, our vision really is that from a design system perspective and also from a UI kit perspective, in other words, the technology that renders this design system, that we have all of the essential patterns for doing any kind of system. But there may be others that we miss, and those can certainly be added to by a customer or by the vertical user guide.
Hey, Sean, question.
Yes.
So, this is Suren. So, this is great. I see all this is taking us to the next level. And what would be your guideline for us and the customers who have, a UI kit and our customers are extending our skin, right? So, is this backward compatible for them, or if we make changes, are they forced to make the change if we go and do this in this release? And if they are inheriting our skin and template layouts for the sections, what would be your guidance?
So as Richard said, the customers do not need to upgrade to the latest UI kit. They can be perfectly happy staying on whatever they're on for as long as they want. There are obviously advantages to upgrading.
Absolutely, yeah.
In terms of functionality, but also in terms of design thinking and interaction, all kinds of usability issues. But they do not need to upgrade.
This upgrade to old version,
So
you can have the latest UI kit in there. So they choose just not to take that fast to upgrade, or
No, if we do the upgrade, right? If we on 7.3, the vertical application now took the upgrade because we want this, and if we make the progression to using UI Kit 8 and UI Kit 9, now they have built on our previous version. So will they be forced to do it now that we've done it? Or
Yes, they will have by default, because if they take a latest version of the Pega application, they will have certain need to, at this time, they are back to some development, right? They will have certain need to modify some of the section to make sure it matches the new look and feel of the updated version of the Pega application.
And I think they'll bring this.
Yeah, the idea that the customer would want new functionality, but not new, better front end, new, better interaction patterns, doesn't make any sense to me. Either one, your app is
Okay.
upgraded, or you don't.
okay,
They're interconnected. So the way that when a user ends up using a tool, an enterprise application, is connected to the technology that we are advancing.
correct. The reason I'm asking that is if we do the upgrade, right, or rather when we take it on, but say a customer now wants to do their upgrade of, if say they had customer service for financial services 7.22 and now we have released 7.31 and they want to take that upgrade, is it just they can take it and move on, or is it that they'll have to do all the things, right? That's why I was checking that. So it looks like if we make the upgrade, they'll be forced to do it, is how I understand it.
Right.
I think a version
Okay.
of this has to be also made available for customers, right? Because when they go and override certain things in their own layer, they should follow the same practices.
Correct, they'll have to follow
No,
the
I
same.
agree with that. Yeah, and I agree with that. That's something that we will continue to publish on design.pega.com. I should point out that design.pega.com had a refresh and quite a bit of new content added just before Pega World. So I would certainly recommend going there often and looking at things. And yeah, so much of this deck, the information within should be, we should really make sure that it's available to customers there that can't see them.
Okay. Thank you.
just a comment. I mean, it might be quite a bit of work, but I think it would be great to have some guided process for upgrading UI kit from version 8 to version 9 or version 9 to version 10, so that there's a checklist of things that automatically detecting some of the enhancement areas and really guide them in terms of having a full UI kit version compatible application from one version to the other.
Yeah, I agree. I think we could probably do considerably better in terms of added experience for upgrades in general, to be honest with you. And certainly on the front end, that's pretty critical. Okay, well, we're just about out of time. Thank you all for joining online. I know there's a lot of people online. We'll try to make sure this deck is available ASAP. And one note is that this was again, the May design review that we're doing now in June. But we're going to, probably at the end of this month, more standard, UX design review towards the end of June. So, thanks, everybody.